I was born in Wangaratta in 1933, and when I was 5-year-old, the family moved to Myrtleford. Times were tough with poverty everywhere. When I was 16, I used to go over to the park and watch the firefighters doing training for fire demonstrations. One night I was standing there and they were short of a man on the reel. I was invited to run with them. I didn't know if I was allowed to or not. I just did it. Then they said, "Why don't you join?" But I said I was only 16. You had to be 18 to join in those days. Lieutenant Jack Garoni said, "You look 18 to me," and signed me up. I became a probationary firefighter. I started out most interested in the competitions between different brigades, but I soon became aware of the benefits of helping people in need, of the skills that the CFA is renowned for. Things were different back in those days. The method of alerting us to a fire was a bell located at the post office, which was rung by one of the post office staff. The Myrtleford Brigade was equipped with a 1948 pumper with a 350 gallon per minute Thompson pump and a limited amount of equipment, along with a 600 gallon tanker. There was no personal protective equipment as we know it today. You just went to a fire in the clothes you were wearing. The uniform I was issued had brass buttons with CFBB printed on them. About 4 years later, a new baker came to town who had a good-looking daughter. I was partnering my sister Dorothy in a Deb set. When we walked in, I saw Margaret for the first time. She was talking to another lass while playing the piano, and looked at me and commented to her, "I bet he is a soak." I had never had a drink. I married Margaret in 1958. I transferred to Niles Brigade in 1959 when we moved there so Margaret's family could run the local bakery. I served in most offices from foreman through to captain. They were a good brigade. That makes the job a little easier. When you're in a serious fire situation, you have to make quick decisions, and you need to have a team who understands you. During that time, I served on the Victorian Urban Fire Brigade's executive for 5 years. I transferred to Ocean Grove CFA in 1983 when Margaret and I purchased a local menswear store. I was communications officer. It's less physically demanding, but if you send people to the wrong place, you're in trouble. Then in 2000, I was a foundation member of the Ballerine Staging Unit, better known as Dad's Army. We are in direct contact between strike teams at a major fire and an incident control centre. We're all guys in our 60s to 80s. We collectively boast over 900 years of service. We no longer actively fight fires, but we can do this job and we can do it with a lot of skill. I'm fortunate enough to still be a volunteer after over 64 years. And Margaret served for 50 years on the auxiliary. It's been a real journey to see how the CFA has moved with the times. We feel very proud to have served the communities we live in and have derived so much pleasure from it.